In this lesson, we're going to take a look at creating hierarchies in a tabular semantic model. We probably should start with first explaining what a hierarchy is and why we would want one. So let's take a look at a dimension that doesn't have a hierarchy, and then we'll add one to see what value it brings to us. So first, let's start with this fairly simple sales geography product store, and we'll look at the product dimension. The product dimension has a lot of columns, and one of those is brand. I'm going to look at that. Another one is class, and we'll look at that as well. So let's see what the experience is like to browse this with no hierarchy. And when there's no hierarchy, then every column is just an independent attribute that we can drill by. So let me close these. So if I go to the product hierarchy, and let's say that first I want to look at the class, deluxe, economy, and regular, and then below that I want to see the brand name, and then below that I want to see the product name or product description. There we go. So, maybe not the description. It's kind of long. How about the product name? Still long. Excel is creating the illusion that there's some relationship between these attributes, but really there isn't. As a user, I had to go through a lot of work in order to get that set up. Let's look at how we can use hierarchies to create in advance these kinds of relationships that our users will want to use when they're analyzing their data. To create a hierarchy, I must switch over to the diagram view. So down in the lower right corner I can see the table view. That's what we've been using most of the time. Let's switch to the diagram view now. To create the hierarchy, I'm going to create it in the product dimension, and there's a very handy little button here called maximize. And if I give myself lots of room here, I can work just with this dimension. To create the hierarchy, there's another button that's here called create hierarchy. When I create a hierarchy, I give it a name. I'm going to call this one the class hierarchy. This name is just what displays when the user is looking for the hierarchy. So we'll tell them go into the class hierarchy and select something. So that's all that's for. I really want to set this hierarchy up with the same attributes that I showed you before. So I will choose the product name, brand name, and class name. And then what I do is just simply drag those down. But as I drop those columns here, I'll get a hierarchy. I'm going to rename these because my users just call these class, brand, and product. So I'm not renaming the original columns, I'm just giving the name of what they're called inside the hierarchy. And as I scroll up above, I can see that my product name is actually still there, and it's still called product name. I could hide that if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave that for now. So that's created, and then if I want to test that and see how it's working, I can go back to Excel again, and this time I'll do the same thing I did before, but I'm going to choose the class hierarchy so that I don't have to go and find all those attributes. So if I just click on class hierarchy, by creating this intelligence for my users, they don't have to kind of figure out which attributes go above others. It's already figured out for them. But that's really all there is to it. So again, just visit the diagram view, use the button to create your hierarchy, drag in the attributes you need, give them the names you want, save it, and they'll be immediately browsable.